to teach before Rob talks about some other stuff is breaking somebody down from turtle when we already have that hook in. And so this can happen from a variety of different scrambles or from that last previous technique. As I break Rob down and manage to get that hook in, I don't quite manage to connect to Rob well enough, and he manages to build back up. I'm now in turtle position with that hook. So I could from here, like I said, as Rob's in position, and I manage to bring myself in, and I get this hook in, I start losing this control, Rob manages to build up. I'm coming in, I'm still attacking turtle, but the difference now is that I already have the right hook in. Once you already have the hook in, we already have one side of his body controlled. Way easier right now than if we had nothing. So what we're going to look to do here is to control up to the cross shoulder. Right now I have his right hip. If I can get that diagonal control or cross body rotational control here up at his left shoulder, I'm going to be able to create significant posture breaks and have even stronger rotational control. With the lower body before here, this is what I went for lever-based control on both sides of his body, but it's not cross body. It's not from a hip to shoulder, and so it's not quite as effective. Now, Rob's still going to be like, he's already lost one battle by me having the hook on this side. He's not going to want to give up that side. So what we're going to look to do as we move to a power half Nelson is I still have to do a similar kind of technique of looking to encapsulate this shoulder so that I can start dropping my forearm and elbow into the back of his head here and starting to lean my weight so that I can start to twist him like this. This is that power of that diagonal rotational control where his hip is stuck in one place and I can start to lift up at that shoulder. This is going to start to create vulnerability that I can reach through and start getting that underhook. We can go to motorcycle grips, but what we're looking to do for this is just move to a gable grip or an S grip. I mean, honestly, the grip that I use here is going to be quite effective. An S grip allows me a lot more mobility and the ability to pull my elbow further back, because what I'm looking to do is create pressure on the back of his neck, folding his chin into his chest, and just rotating him like this. So that I'm able to start throwing in hooks and establishing back control. If you're gangly like me, you're going to be able to go gable grip. You're going to be able to just kind of grab onto the forearm here. I would try S grip for now, where we turn our palm up to the sky because that allows me to bring my elbow in nice and tight behind his neck. And I'm just going to S grip here, which creates a lot of variability for that grip so I can be quite comfortable. But if we want to go gable grip, totally fine. What I'm looking to do here is just use gravity. This was such a game changer when Gordon Ryan and some of the other guys were teaching it, because it became such strong control for us to be able to posture break and just start bringing our opponent's shoulder back, leaning in, and drop to that side here. And you can see how, because I have strong control of the shoulder, I twist Rob's posture horribly here. Try and get your elbow nice and close to your side, Rob.
And you can't even hear all the pops in my neck from him adjusting me doing this.
Yeah, and so now I make sure I keep this control the whole time. What I want to do is take advantage of this broken alignment from Rob and start getting my hook in. Now, I can certainly from here just throw a hook in if you're flexible and long enough. I got it already. And from here, it's going to be quite easy for me to start just kind of hipping back, bringing them down from here. I just need to make sure that as I've done this, I'm switching quickly to this control here so that I have head and shoulder control. If I keep this control here and we drop, Rob's going to be able to start putting his back to the mat immediately, and I start losing everything. So he's got that elbow in. If they have really shitty turtle, you might be able to just go straight into that, but that's not what we want to train for. So here, I'm going to do a similar thing as I was dropping in, where I'm going to just keep that control so it's hard for Rob to start dropping that shoulder and running away from me, and I start to lean into him and I start to open this up. I create a wedge here, so if I have my hand like as a big fist, this is a big ball that can't fit into tight spaces. I want my hand either bladed or just slightly curled and bladed as well, so it's a small, narrow tool that can get through those spaces as a wedge. Connect my hands together. This time I'll just go gable grip, and so I'm not just leaning back, I'm not trying to pull him up like this. I'm going to just lean into him, and I'm looking to take his head and push it like this, super uncomfortable, so I break his posture. And it's going to make his base even weaker to that side. So he either will roll because his neck is getting cranked, or I'm going to bend him into a horrible position, and then he's so compromised that as we're here, even if he hasn't fallen, I'm now able to look to bring my foot down to the mat so I can hip out and adjust to create some space for his hips to fall back into, and then finish this pushing my elbow into the back of his neck while I simultaneously pull up on that shoulder. So from here, if I don't feel like I can throw that hook in, or say like here where he's blocking, he doesn't want me to get that hook, I'm gonna hit back and look to drop him to start getting that in. And now keep this connection to the back of his head with my forearm as I bring it over to this other side. Now I've taken the head with the shoulder, and now I start pulling myself in tight, getting myself up onto my elbow onto the strong side, so I can start attacking the back there. So let's just do one from, I'll do the opposite side. So here you can see how my hook is in, whether my foot comes all the way over and hooks the calf, or it's just here. This is going to be very strong control though. I will recommend that. Here, I'm leaning into Rob and I'm looking to try and get that elbow opened up. And we're here. Now, this foot, if you don't feel you can get a strong hook, you put it into base. And I can make sure that I have a bit of a kickstand here, so I'm not just out like this. I'm here controlling him, keeping his hips propped up until I'm ready for him to move on my terms. I hip away, and I pull him into that space. Put the foot on top of his hip. If you still keep this in the elbow connection, I'm going to just look to keep opening my elbow, putting his foot up on top of his thigh, pushing it down, getting that connection. Windshield wiper, my arms in, getting into strong back control. I mean, this one, as long as you lean somewhat in the right direction, you'll be amazed at how effective this is. And you can hang out there. So sometimes against bigger guys, I'll sit there for 20 seconds and it's just like, well, this is easy for
carrying your weight on their neck.
Gravity. It's a great technique.
Yeah, and we did want to touch as well on the idea of using this even if you don't have the hook in. So if we're trying to break a really good turtle and we don't have the hook in, and let's say, we're really struggling to make that knee wedge work, we can't really get the grip, maybe you're just too short, you're not able to reach, you're dealing with a bigger opponent. Exposing the elbow by just gripping onto the shoulder and doing that allows you to get underneath here very effectively, but also if they don't want to get turned over, what you're going to find is as you go to do this, they will look to post that hand, and now you can get in behind, use this attack on the other side, move to your motorcycle grip, switch to this side. It just creates a lot of really good openings to take your forearm, bar it across the back of their neck, connect to their shoulder, and start leaning. One thing that I have found really helpful to point out, like just detail-wise, is when I'm leaning, my goal is to actually try to get my elbow on the ground. If Rory just goes in a turtle, then like kind of puts his forehead here. If I'm just leaning this way, I don't actually compromise. Yeah, his forehead connected to the ground through his spine to his hip is actually a really powerful frame. I'm not able to compromise it. Whereas if I get my elbow onto this side, and then I'm actually sliding my elbow towards his head, whether I'm doing the hook version or not. So if I've got my hook in and I go like this, if I'm just leaning like this
sucks, but I'm not moving.
He's definitely not going to move. So whether it requires the S grip to do it, Rory and I both have fairly long arms, we can do this with the Gable grip. But if we make a point of putting our elbow onto the ground and then sliding into them, pushing with our elbow, that's a heuristic that I find really helpful for people who are struggling with movement.
So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that one. We've been talking so far about breaking somebody down and successfully pulling them in towards us. But guys that want to escape turtle and know to deny that back exposure, very common for them to be turning their back away from us. And so in the next video, we're going to be talking about the barrel rolls so that we can chase them down.